anything from you. That is why I ask you to give the proper information. Okay. So my
Ma'am, the
recording
email address and email ID we
is
will
the
get
same.
this.
These are same. I have written it. These are same. You can
Okay,
write
ma'am.
the same or you can write separate, anything you want, but give the proper email ID. Okay, so I am continuing with my demand supply analysis. And as I said, today I am going to start something new, which is not in, remember, this is not in ManQ. For that portion, my reference is Kurswanis. Once you have it, very good. Otherwise, I think it is available in online. Free versions are there, PDF versions, so you can just download it. Kurswanis. Okay,
Okay.
that's step.
Um,
Uh, yes.
Ma'am, can you write the name in the chat box? It's
No,
difficult to
because
understand.
I will definitely make a mistake when I will write the name. Just a minute. Okay, okay, let me try. Because the name is, just a minute. Let me give a try.
What is reading, ma'am?
Yes? Are you
বলছে।
just a minute.
এই জেনে ওকে ডিফিকাল্ট এরকম করা বুঝে চলতো না ঝগড়া হলে
Okay, I will search it. Shubhashish, I think you should stop your sound. Hmm? You make yourself mute. Yes. I will write it in the WhatsApp. Huh? I will write the name in the WhatsApp. For the time being, I cannot write because the name is like this. I will definitely make some spelling mistake there. So I will check it and I will write it in the WhatsApp group. Now look, what I am telling about the stability. We have discussed about the equilibrium. If you have any problem with that equilibrium, you can ask me now or I will continue. Do you have any problem with equilibrium portion?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Where is the problem?
Ma'am, in the demand part, where there is the shifts in the demand curve,
Mhm.
in the point expectations, there is a line I can't understand that.
Oh, in the book?
Yes, ma'am.
Or just read it out?
Uh, if you expect to earn a higher income next month, you may choose to save less now and spend more of your current income buying ice cream.
Okay. So where is the problem? You don't prefer ice cream?
No, means it is written in the book.
Yes,
I
so
did. Yes, ma'am.
it's very
No, I.
clear. No, actually, what happened? Look, what happened? Your expectation this is in the next month your salary will be increased. Okay, so you are very happy. So
Yes,
there,
ma'am.
what you will do with your today's income, you want to spend a lot more than before because you know tomorrow I will get more money. Hmm. So what you will do with your extra? You have increased your demand in that sense. Okay? You have increased your demand because you want to spend more of your money today. Okay, so how you can spend? You can spend it for some luxury purpose, for some funny purpose, which is giving you some fun. So that is why you are going to the ice cream parlor and you have purchased one ice cream. So this is how you have increased demand of today. Why? Because you have an expectation that tomorrow your income is going to increase. So your demand curve will shift to the right. Demand for ice cream will shift to the right.
Okay, ma'am. And ma'am, in the initial part where there is uh, a paragraph about what is a market.
Hmm.
Uh, there in a highly organized market, uh, like where there are agricultural commodities,
Hmm.
there is the role of an auctioneer. So, ma'am, what is the role of an auctioneer means?
Can you read that line?
Okay, ma'am. Some markets are highly organized, such as the markets for many agricultural commodities. In these markets, buyers and sellers meet at a specific time and place where an auctioneer helps set prices and arrange sales.
Hmm. No issue. Auctioneer is doing this, no? Auctioneer is just is working as a price mechanism. They are asking, okay, the price of that commodity has decided the price. This is the agricultural commodity. It's just like an auction house for agricultural commodities. So the price per kg of wheat is 50 rupees. Is it okay? So I'm going to sell it at 50 rupees. So there is a person who is saying, no, I can give 60 rupees per packet. So now he is asking, then are, is there anyone who can pay more than 60? So the second person is saying that, okay, I will pay 65. So this is how finally a price has been determined. This is the auction process, na? And finally the price, so who is determining the price? The auctioneer. He is just interacting in the market. He is just making a um, matching between the demand and supply, and finally he has determined the price.
So, ma'am, can it distort the invisible hand?
No, invisible hand is there, but the invisible hand is working with the help of the auctioneer. Auctioneer is using that mechanism that much.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Any other
Ma'am, I have a
question?
question.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes.
one question from the first chapter.
Mhm.
Ma'am, I
Ask.
had come across a question. Ma'am, there was a statement given that the government waivers off the loan for poor farmers who have suffered losses. So, explain this in terms of equity and efficiency.
This is equity, definitely.
Ma'am, equity but not efficiency.
No, not at all efficiency. They cannot give that
Yes.
loan, so they are inefficient in that sense. But you are
Okay.
just helping them.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Any other question? Acha. So let me proceed with the stability. Okay. So what we discussed in case of the equilibrium, look, in the equilibrium, I'm going to the very first diagram. Huh? This is my equilibrium diagram.
Ma'am, you're not
So,
sharing your screen.
yes, I'm sharing. Arey baap re. Just a minute. করিনি? Oh, sorry. Now, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now look at this diagram. So here, what we have discussed, that this is our equilibrium point, and if there is any surplus, as in the second diagram, if there is any surplus, then price mechanism is working and it is reducing the price down. If there is a deficit or shortage, then the price mechanism is working and increase the price to the equilibrium level. So what is happening? If you are not at the equilibrium, you are here or you are here, you are anywhere in the market, the price mechanism is forcing you to come to that equilibrium, right? If you are here, it is the surplus, so price is falling and you are coming back to the equilibrium. If you are here, then it is the deficit, the price mechanism is increasing the price to come back to the equilibrium, right? So what I can say, that given this diagram, once an individual is not in the equilibrium, he can come back to the equilibrium through the price mechanism. Okay, so this is what happening here. If the equilibrium has this property, that if one leaves the equilibrium, can come back to the equilibrium through the mechanism, that equilibrium is called the stable equilibrium. Okay, that equilibrium is called the stable. That means you can go here, you can go there, but you can come back easily to your initial location. So this is called the stability. Now look, you may get some other equilibrium which is not stable. That means you have this equilibrium, that demand supply interaction is there. So demand is equal to supply. So you can understand this is your equilibrium. But what is happening? If you leave that equilibrium, you cannot come back to the equilibrium. Price mechanism is not helping you to come back to that equilibrium. So that equilibrium is not desired. Okay, this is not expected. The people, the consumer, producer, they are not interested to have this type of equilibrium, because it is not possible for them to stay always at the equilibrium. They may go there, here, and like this. Okay, so stability is needed. Stability is preferred in that sense, because everyone needs stability in their life as well, right? So what in economics, how you can get that stability? Hmm. There are two approaches. When we are going to discuss the stability portion, we have to introduce two new approaches. The first one is the Walrasian approach, and the second one is the Marshallian approach. According to the Walrasian approach, Walras is the name of an economist, Marshall is the name of another economist. Okay, so what is the Walrasian approach? Walrasian approach is saying price is independent and quantity demanded is dependent variable. Okay, look at the equation, you can understand. Quantity demanded is dependent on the price. So price is the explanatory variable and Q is the dependent variable. Okay, so this is the Walrasian approach. According to the Walrasian approach, first price will change and accordingly quantity demanded will change. Or quantity supply, not only demanded, supply as well. So price is depending on quantity. Sorry. Quantity is depending on price. Okay, quantity is depending on price. Let me change it, otherwise it will make confusion.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes. Ask.
Ma'am, ma'am, there is a Marshallian approach, and you said that there is it is a name of an economist, Marshall. Is this the economist Marshall who approaches the diminishing marginal utility?
Yes.
I think.
Same.
Okay, ma'am.
So here I should say the price is the independent and quantity is the dependent variable. Okay. Don't go for demand, don't go for supply, because everything is true. So here price is independent. That means price is explaining quantity. First price will change and accordingly quantity will change. Done. The Marshall is saying just opposite. He is saying quantity is independent. So first quantity will change and accordingly price will change. Okay. So just look at the mathematical formulas. You can understand it quite easily. That in case of Walras, Q is a function of P. In case of Marshall, P is a function of Q. Is it okay? These two approaches, I will
Ma'am,
explain it in details. Yes.
ma'am, shouldn't it be the opposite? Means P is a function of Q in the first part, always in approach.
No, no.
Ma'am, because price is independent,
Yes.
uh, so P should be
Who
a
is independent, he should not be the function of another variable. You are independent, you are explaining. So I will change the price. I will change the price and quantity will change accordingly.
oh, okay, ma'am, okay, ma'am. Understood, ma'am.
Price may change from 5 to 10, 10 to 15. And what will be its effect on quantity? This is the Walrasian approach. And Marshall is saying that quantity is changing. So quantity is changed from 50 to 100, 100 to 200. Then how price will change? Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Okay,
I
ma'am.
will explain Marshall. Marshall may be a bit confusing to you right now because the first approach is quite easy to you to understand. Because price is changing, then how quantity is changing. That is what we have discussed already. We are discussing in this way actually. But the Marshall is a bit something new to you. I will explain when I will go in details of the Marshallian approach.
Okay, ma'am.
So this I've just introduced two concepts. One is Marshall, one is Walras, just opposite. They are opposite to each other. Now look at this diagram. This diagram is drawn by me. So if you have any problem that you cannot understand any letter or anything, you are free to ask me, huh? Yes. There are some cases. The first is the Walrasian. We are discussing about Walrasian. This is case number 1. That simple case which was there in the ManQ. Now look at this diagram. There is a normal demand curve. So your demand curve is downward sloping, your supply curve is upward rising. You have one equilibrium at E and you have equilibrium price P star, and here it is Q star. Okay, so this is your equilibrium. For each and every case, you will find that equilibrium. No issue. Equilibrium is always there. We will check whether that equilibrium is stable or not. Now look, if the price is P1, then it is the case of excess supply. You all of you know this is the surplus or excess supply. So if there is excess supply, the price mechanism will reduce the price and price will fall down from P1 to P star. Okay, and same thing will happen if there is a shortage or excess demand, then price mechanism will increase P2. So the diagram is explaining that if you are leaving that equilibrium either here or here, you can come back to the equilibrium again through price mechanism. Okay, so we can say that equilibrium E is a stable equilibrium. You can go here but come back here. You can go here but come back here. So it is a stable equilibrium. Is it okay?
ম্যাম।
Yes, ma'am.
হ্যাঁ বলো, কারোর একটা কিছু প্রশ্ন আছে?
হ্যাঁ ম্যাম। ম্যাম বলছিলাম যে ওয়ালরেসিয়ান অ্যাপ্রোচ হিসেবে কোয়ান্টিটি ডিমান্ডেডটা যদি ডিপেন্ডেন্ট ভেরিয়েবল হয়
হুম।
তো সেটা মানে মানে ওয়াই অ্যাক্সিসে মানে থাকা উচিত তো।
No, actually this is the thing I said. Now we are actually following the Marshallian concept.
আচ্ছা
When we
ম্যাম।
are drawing the diagram, we are and this is something wrong. Huh? This is something wrong. It should be Q. It should be Q. It should not be QD. It should be Q. The thing is, when we are drawing the diagram, we are always following Marshallian concept. Okay, so that is why in that case price is the dependent variable, so that is why price is on the vertical axis. But here actually price is independent variable, but we are following the same rule.
আচ্ছা ম্যাম, মানে ডায়াগ্রাম আঁকার সময় আমরা মার্সেলিয়ান অ্যাপ্রোচ ফলো করছি, কিন্তু কিন্তু অ্যাকচুয়ালি এটা ওয়ালরেসিয়ান অ্যাপ্রোচ মানে।
Actually for this diagram we are explaining Walrasian approach.
ওকে ম্যাম।
When we
আচ্ছা
will explain both approaches, you can understand both are actually same. You can explain it from this side or from that side. So then
আচ্ছা
that
ম্যাম।
confusion will disappear, that why we are measuring independent variable on the vertical axis. Okay.
ওকে ম্যাম, থ্যাংক ইউ ম্যাম।
Now look, this is E equilibrium. So can you understand the stability portion? That if you move here, if you can move here, you are coming back to this equilibrium. Your price mechanism is helping you to come back to that equilibrium. So that is why that equilibrium E is called the stable equilibrium. Is it clear to you?
ইয়েস ম্যাম।
Any question from anyone else? That stability portion is clear to you or not? Because I am going to explain a lot of diagrams to show the same thing, stability. So the stability is clear to you?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, fine. Fine. So this is the first diagram, the easiest one, so it is clear. Now let me go to case number 2. Look at this diagram of little chota chota. Just a minute, just a minute. Oh, I am making a lot of mistake. Everything should be Q, huh? Remember, when you will draw the diagram in your copy, don't write QD on the horizontal axis. It is Q because demand and supply both are measured on the horizontal. Okay, so this is Q. This is a mistake done by me, but don't do it in your copy. Look, this is case number 2. It is the violation of law of demand, but law of supply is there. Hmm? The supply curve is upward rising. That means there is law of supply, but my demand curve is also upward rising. So this is the violation of law of demand for both the cases. For both the cases, there is a violation of law of demand. Okay, but what is the difference? In the first diagram, demand curve is steeper than supply curve. In the second diagram, supply curve is steeper than demand curve. That is the only difference. Okay, what we are going to do? We are going to check the stability. Look, in both the diagram, there is one equilibrium. Demand is equal to supply. Demand is equal to supply. So you have your equilibrium. Okay, the question is whether that equilibrium is stable or not. So let me check for the first one. If the price is something more than equilibrium price, so your demand is here, your supply is here. So it is the case of, let me use my pen, just a minute. Yes, check. Very poor straight line. But if this is the price, then your demand is here, your supply is here. So there is a case of excess supply. Okay. If there is excess supply, then price will fall. Price mechanism will reduce the price. So your equilibrium price, your price will fall down to the equilibrium. If there is any price which is less than the equilibrium price, then this is your supply, this is your demand. So it is the case of excess demand. Okay. So if there is excess demand, you know the price will increase, the price mechanism will raise the price, and the price will go back to the equilibrium. So you can understand, ultimately you can achieve your equilibrium. Is it clear to you or not?
Ma'am, I have a question, ma'am. Can we denote the P star and the Q star like the previous graph in this graph also?
Which one?
Ma'am, in the equilibrium price, can we denote it P star and the equilibrium quantity?
Yes,
Can we
yes,
denote?
yes. That you can. That you can. Actually, it will make a clumsy thing. That is why I just leave that
Okay, ma'am.
portion. But
Okay,
you
ma'am.
have to.
Understood.
You have to. You have to. You have
Hello,
to.
ma'am.
When you will explain this, you have to write P star, P1, P2, everything. Yes.
Ma'am, can you explain this again?
Yes. This is our equilibrium. So this is the equilibrium price. Say the equilibrium price is not at P star. Say the price is somewhere else. So it is at P1. It is here. So given that price P1, so it is P1. So at P1, the supply is more than demand. So it is the case of excess supply. If there is excess supply, then price mechanism will reduce the price. So price is reduced and finally it will come down to the equilibrium price. If there is any price which is below the equilibrium price, say it is P2, then it is the case of excess demand. This is the excess demand. And if there is excess demand, price mechanism will raise the price and price will go up to this term. So you can understand, once you leave your equilibrium, either upward or downward, the price mechanism is helping you to come back to equilibrium again. So I can say my equilibrium is a stable equilibrium. Do you have any problem?
Ma'am, I have a question. Ma'am, why
Yes.
is the demand curve positively sloped?
Because I am assuming there is violation of law of demand.
Okay.
So it is not like, I just want to say that if there is violation of law of demand, we cannot say that equilibrium is unstable. There may be violation of law of demand, but you may get stable equilibrium. But look at the second diagram. Look at the second diagram. Again, that violation is still there. This is the equilibrium price. Okay. This is our equilibrium price. Say there is any price here. So at this price,
Excess demand.
yes, excess demand. And if there is excess demand, price mechanism will do what?
Increase the price.
Yes, it will increase. Very good. It will increase the price. It will increase the price. So this is the direction of change of price. Look, that will be the direction of change in price. Similarly, if there is any price here, it is the case of excess supply.
Surplus.
The surplus. Surplus means price will fall down. Right? So you
So this is
cannot,
unstable.
yes, you cannot go back to your equilibrium once you leave your equilibrium. So that diagram is unstable. So you may get unstable equilibrium with the violation of law of demand, but everything is depending on their slopes. If demand curve is steeper than the supply curve, then whether there is violation of law of demand or not, you will get the stable equilibrium. But if the supply curve is steeper, then your equilibrium will be unstable. Okay? ঠিক আছে কি ঠিক নেই?
Understood.
Any other question from this diagram? Anyone else?
Ma'am, here why are we assuming that the demand curve is positively sloped? You told that it's exception to the law of demand, ma'am. Why are we assuming that there is exception?
If there is exception, no, I am not assuming, because actually if there is excess demand, then whether you will get the stable equilibrium or not, that is the question. If there is
Okay, ma'am.
violation of law of demand, whether we will get stable equilibrium or not. So the answer
Okay,
is,
ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
we may get
Okay,
stable
okay.
equilibrium.
Depending on the slope of the curve.
Exactly, depending on the slope of the
And
curves.
ma'am, one more question. Ma'am, say for example, the first diagram you're taking for a particular commodity. Ma'am, is it practically possible that a commodity has a positively sloped demand curve as well as a positively sloped supply curve?
Yes, why not? Supply is coming from some other person. Demand and supply, these are from two different individuals. So
Yes, yes, ma'am.
their
Okay, yes,
views.
yes, ma'am, it's possible. Yes, ma'am, it's possible. Yes, yes, I got it, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Any other
Thank you, ma'am.
question? Any other question?
Ma'am, can you give us one example?
Yes, as I
Possibly.
said, no, as I said, that price, when price is showing your status, then you are going to purchase the
Inferior good.
commodity. Huh?
Ma'am, giffen goods will be an example.
Inferior good.
Yes. No, not inferior good. Why you are talking about inferior good every day? Inferior good is not violation of law of demand. Inferior good is something related with your income. It is not related with the price. Giffen good is related with the price. Giffen good is a type of inferior good. Okay. So that special kind of inferior good named Giffen good has a violation of law of demand. Okay. But not inferior good in general. At the end of this same, you can understand what you are talking. Okay, because there is a consumer behavior, we will decompose the price effect into income and substitution effect. There you can understand what is the exact difference between income effect and the given good case. But for the time being, no, it is not inferior good. It is the given good. If there is given good, there is violation of law of demand. If this good is like this, the higher price commodity means, just like the Veblen effect, higher price commodity means it is my status symbol, so I should purchase it. If it is like this, in that case, I am going to purchase more and more of the commodity whose price is continuously increasing. So there comes violation of law of demand. There are some people in our neighborhood now who are always trying to show off, sort of show off. Um, Look, I have purchased a cabbage in the summer because the price of cabbage is 50 rupees at that time, so I'm going to purchase it. Right? So this is not the rational behavior, I can say, because if the price is falling, my demand should increase. But why I should increase my demand when the price is increasing? But they are doing this. Why? Because they are just trying to show up their status. They are just trying to show up their income level. So they are violating the law of demand. This is not the cabbage, but for any commodity you can find this. Is it okay?
Ma'am, when we are drawing the graph, ma'am, should we write the region of excess demand and region of excess supply? Do we have to mark it?
No, the diagram which I have drawn with my blue lines and red lines, this is enough. Just mention the points. This is not mentioned here. For that, you can mention these price levels, P1, P star, P2. That is something additional you need in this diagram, and that will be okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
We are always interested to purchase an Audi. We are always interested to purchase a ferry. Why? Because the price is very high. Otherwise, in general, they don't have any other use. They have four wheels, they have four seats, everything is there. One steering is there. So why we need this commodity? Because once I have this type of car in my garage, that means it shows the status. And look at the status of that person. You can purchase that commodity. So this is something violation of law of demand. I have purchased it. Why? Because the price is high. Anyway, this is case number 2. Now look at case number 3. Again, I have to enlarge it. Just a minute. Another extreme. This is another extreme. Violation of law of supply. Supply curve is downward sloping. Here the supply curve is downward sloping. But you have the same two diagrams as before. In the first diagram, your supply curve is steeper than the demand curve. In the second diagram, your demand curve is steeper than the supply curve. Okay. Now look, let me check for the first diagram. Here we have one P star. This is the equilibrium price P star. Say the price is P1, which is above P star. So it's here. It's a case of excess supply. So if it is excess supply, price mechanism will reduce the price. Okay. Say there is P2 below P star. So it is the case of excess demand. So price mechanism will increase the price. So you can see the first diagram here is the stable equilibrium. Right? ঠিক আছে? Any question?
ঠিক আছে
Okay. Now look at the second diagram of this slide. Here you are getting just opposite. Here it is the case of excess demand, so price will rise. The price will rise, and if there is any price below the equilibrium, it is the case of excess supply, so price will fall. So that equilibrium is not stable. Once you leave this equilibrium, you cannot come back to your equilibrium. So if there is violation of law of supply, you may get stable equilibrium, but you may not get stable equilibrium as well, depending on the slope of the curves. If supply curve is steeper, then the equilibrium is stable. If demand curve is steeper, the equilibrium is unstable. Okay, this is case number 3. I hope this slide is clear. Clear?
Ma'am,
And
can you
again,
give an example of commodity with downward sloping supply curve?
Uh, Price is falling, supply is also falling. Uh, no, right now I cannot.
Ma'am, it
Anyone
is
from this class?
hypothetical. I think it is hypothetical because for all commodities, like which is an exception to the law of supply, the supply is there's the exception arises only because it is in the short run. Because if it's in the long run, then there would be no exception.
Yes. Yes, for the time being, it is downward sloping.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Or
that
ma'am,
may be
the supply is limited. Maybe the supply is limited. Like for example, the antique goods or the perishable goods.
perishable good, but why price is falling and supply is increasing? That part I
Yes,
cannot
ma'am.
explain with that perishable portion. I cannot give any example right now, huh, where there is violation
Okay.
of law of supply. But if you, anyone from this class, if you can, just make a try.
Ma'am, economies of scale.
Yes, yes, very good. Yes, yes. If there is economies of scale, then you will get downward sloping supply curve. Very good. I should give that example. If there is economies of scale, then the downward sloping supply curve is possible. That means if there is IRS, when I am increasing production, my average cost is falling. So there I can
Yes,
charge
ma'am.
lower
Yes,
and
ma'am.
lower
Yes, ma'am.
price. Yes, I should
Yes,
give
ma'am.
that example.
Yes.
Thank you. Whoever has given that example, thank you. Uh, in that case, you will get the violation of law of supply. Acha. So this is case number 3. Now case number 4. Just opposite. Look at this diagram. It is just opposite. That means there is violation of law of demand and there is violation of law of supply. Both. Both have been violated. So here what will be the condition of my equilibrium? Is it stable? You can see easily that it is not stable at all. If any price is greater than the equilibrium price, it is the case of excess demand. Any price is below the equilibrium price, excess supply, the price mechanism is always changing the price to the opposite direction of the equilibrium price. So you never come back to your equilibrium. So if there is violation of law of demand and supply, there is no option of stability. It is definitely an unstable situation. Okay, so this is all about the Walrasian stability analysis through diagram.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, will you repeat this case for again?
Yes, I'm telling you that if the price is here, okay, let me use the pen. Just a minute. This is the equilibrium price, right? This is the equilibrium price. If the price is P1, this is the case of excess demand. So if it is excess demand, then price will increase. Price mechanism will raise the price. Say it is the price is P2, the case of excess supply, then price will fall. So you can understand you cannot come back to P star again. So the equilibrium is quite unstable. Absolutely unstable. And there is no option. In case of violation of law of demand, violation of law of supply, there is another option depending on the slopes. But there is no option. If there is violation of both the laws, it is definitely an unstable equilibrium.
Yes, ma'am. Understood, ma'am.
So this is about, I'm just trying to explain this approach only diagrammatically. You can explain it mathematically as well, but I'm not interested to explain it mathematically. The diagram is, okay. Now the Marshallian. Okay. As the Marshallian approach is something new to us, let me explain the approach first. Then we will go for that case-to-case studies. Okay. Look at this diagram. Don't confuse, okay. Here I am right on the vertical axis, on the horizontal axis, I am measuring Q. There is no mistake in this diagram. But before this diagram, in all other diagrams, I have written QD, QD. Don't write QD on your horizontal axis. When you are drawing demand and supply curve both in the same diagram, don't write QD or QS on the horizontal right. Better to write Q. Okay, like this. Now this is the demand curve, huh? The downward sloping curve is the demand curve, upward rising curve is your supply curve. Okay, now how to explain it? Here, as you know, in case of Marshallian approach, the quantity is the explanatory variable or independent variable, right? And price is the dependent variable in case of Marshallian case. Look, in case of Marshallian case, quantity is the independent variable and price is the dependent variable. Okay, so now the same diagram we are going to explain it some other way. That approach is clear now, that Marshallian concept. Remember this equation: Q is the independent variable, P is the dependent variable in Marshall. Then how to explain this diagram? Look at this diagram. If the price is Q1, here we have to start with the quantity because quantity is the independent variable. You cannot say if the price is P1. No, you have to say if the price is Q1. If the price is Q1, then okay, forget about the supply side. Concentrate on the consumer side. That means only on the demand side. If the price is Q1, the question is, what is the maximum price the consumer is interested to pay? Do you get my point? If the quantity is Q1, then what is the maximum price the consumer is interested to pay? The price is here. Any price. For example, if I am giving you an option, say this is a survey. I am asking you that I am going to give you 10 books, or okay, not the book, 10 exercise copies. Then what is the price, what is the maximum price you are interested to pay per copy? You are saying that's a 20 rupees. I can pay 20 rupees per copy. Okay, and I am going to give you 10 copies. So in that case, the price, the maximum price you are interested to pay is here. Yes. This is the maximum price the consumer is interested to pay for the quantity Q1. Is it clear? Actually, what happened? Okay, let me explain in some other way. In this type of survey, what is happened? One, what can I say? An imagination is there. The questionnaire is like this. Say 5 units of egg rolls are given to you. Okay, say 5 units are egg rolls are in front of you. Are you interested to pay 5 rupees per egg roll? What will be your answer? Anyone from this class? Okay,
Ma'am, can you
listen
please repeat?
listen my question carefully. I am going to give you 5 egg rolls. Okay, I am going to give you 5 egg rolls. Will you interested to pay 5 rupees per egg roll?
No, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Very
Yes,
much.
ma'am.
Okay, I am coming to that person who said no. But okay, I am going through
It
that
depends
yes
on.
portion. Yes portion. Okay, those who have said yes, ma'am, I am asking, are you interested to pay 10 rupees per egg roll?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Are you interested to pay 15 rupees per egg roll?
No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Are you interested to pay 20 rupees per egg roll?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Look, that yes portion is reduced now. That voice is down now. Okay, 30 rupees per unit. Are you interested
No,
to pay?
ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Maybe.
Anyone for yes?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I got one. Okay, fine. And then 40 rupees per egg roll.
No,
No
ma'am.
way.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay, so 30 rupees is the maximum the consumer is interested to pay. I can say that market of my same one class, that market is ready to pay maximum of 30 rupees. So that 30 rupees is here. That Q1 is 5 units of egg roll and that 30 rupees is here. This is the maximum money you wanted to pay for a single unit of that commodity. This is for 5 units of egg roll. Now I am telling you, I am going to give you 50 units of egg roll. Okay? Remember, I am going to give each of you 50 units. Are you interested to pay 5 rupees per unit?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you remember the number? Have 50 units.
No, ma'am, no.
Oh, that person is typical. Hai? He is always saying no, no, no. Okay, so he is actually interested to get the commodity as free. Anyway, you are also in the market. Uh, are you interested to pay 10 rupees per unit?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You are going to get 50 units. Remember this thing. I am repeating it again. You are going to get 50 units per head. Okay. Are you interested to pay 15 rupees per unit?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. No.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
So what is the maximum money you are interested to pay? 10. Look, when I was offering 5 units, you are interested to pay 30. When I am going to offer 50 units, you are not ready to pay more than 10. Okay, so this is your willingness to pay. And as you are getting more commodity, now that is why per unit price for from your side is falling. Okay, because you are getting 50, you are very much happy. You can explain that demand portion, that willingness to pay in terms of utility, that we will explain. But before that, this is just an example. This is how the market survey is done. This is how the new products which are going to be launched, they are serving the market. They are making a survey on the market that what should be the price of my commodity. This is how they're asking. So here we are using that same process to get your willingness to pay. So what I am saying, when the commodity is Q1, you are interested to pay this. When the commodity is Q2, you are interested to pay this. Okay, so this is another way to explain your demand curve. No? If you join all those points, you can get that same demand curve. Initially, when you did your demand curve, what you said? That if the price is P1, then the quantity demanded is Q1. If the price is P2, then the quantity demanded is Q2. So you are joining this point and that point, and you are getting that downward sloping demand curve. This is what you have done. But now I am telling you, if the quantity is Q1, then what is the maximum price you can get? You can give. You are saying it is P1. If the quantity is Q2, then what is the maximum price you can give? You are saying P2. So I am getting 1 point here, 1 point here. If I join this point, I will get the same demand curve. So what I am trying to say, I can explain my demand curve in this way as well. Pariki? Is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else? Only one yes.
Ma'am, please
Ma'am, can
explain
you?
it again.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
The curve.
Yes, ma'am. The curve extended.
Okay, okay, fine, fine, fine. Let me explain. Okay, let me write some points. Okay, I'm saying that when we are using that law of demand, when we derived my demand curve, what I said, that say the price in the market is P1, then what should be the quantity demanded? We said it is Q1. So we are getting this point, P1, Q1. Hmm. Again, I'm saying if the price is falling to P2, then what will be the quantity demanded? You said it is Q2. So you are getting another point P2, Q2. This is how you are getting several points for different price quantity combinations. And once you are joining all those points, you are getting your demand curve. Do you agree with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if it is clear to you, then I am explaining it some other way. Now I am telling you that if the quantity is Q1, what is the maximum price you can give? P1. So I am getting P1, Q1. The next question is, if the price is Q2, then what is the maximum price you are interested to pay? You are saying P2. So I am getting Q2, P2. If I join these points and similarly some other points as well, so if I join all those points, I will get the same demand curve. That same downward sloping curve showing the relationship between the price and quantity. Na?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes,
Fine.
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
ma'am.
so this is another way to draw the demand curve. Okay, this is another way to draw the demand curve, and this is the Marshallian approach. This is the Marshallian approach to draw the demand curve. Hmm. The same demand curve you can get. That is why I said that once you can finish that stability analysis, you can understand there is no harm to write P on the vertical axis, because here my P is the dependent variable. Q is the independent variable. So if Q is this, what is the maximum price I can give? P1. If Q2 is the quantity, then what is the maximum price I can give? P2. Similarly, there will be P3, Q3, there will be P4, Q4 like this. If I join all those points, I will get the same relationship between price and quantity as it was initially. So this is some other approach to draw the demand curve. So now is it clear that Marshallian approach is clear to you? This is Marshallian approach. I am not discussing about the stability right now. I am discussing only about the Marshallian approach. Is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am. Understood.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Okay, now I am coming to the stability. That same equilibrium is here. Okay, fine. This is the case of demand. Okay, let me explain it from the supply side as well. For the supplier, what is the approach? If the quantity Q1, what is the minimum price the suppliers are expected? Okay, that means that should be the minimum price so that he can sell Q1. Okay, say it is by chance it is P2 here, it may be something else. It is, say, okay, P2. So to sell Q1, the minimum price expected by the supplier is P2. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, ma'am, please repeat it.
Okay, I'm telling you now, forget about the consumer. Hmm? Concentrate on the supply side, that is the producer. The question to the producer is like this: if Q1 has to be supplied by the producer, then what is the minimum price they are expecting to have per unit? That means what should be the minimum price so that the seller can sell Q1? Just a minute. Just a minute. Someone was waiting here. No one. Okay, let me go back.
Ma'am, is
Yes.
P2 is the seller's expectation?
Yes. Now everything with respect to seller.
Okay.
Huh? So what is the seller's view? Sellers are expecting some minimum price for a certain quantity. If the price is that, they are not interested to sell. Right? So for Q1, what is the minimum price sellers are expecting to have? So that is P1, P2, sorry, that is P2. For Q1, by chance this is P2, it may be something different. No problem in that case. If the price is say here, okay, for Q1, say the price is here, say it is P3. So the P3 is the price which the minimum for the seller to sell Q1. If the price is less than Q3, he will not sell Q1. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If the quantity is Q2, then as the quantity is more, the seller's expectation is also more per unit, because they know that, okay, I can sell more commodities. So per unit price should be more for me. Otherwise, how can I make up my cost and everything? So here, if the price is Q2, then sellers, what is the minimum price? Again, the same question. What is the minimum price?
P1.
Yes, no, this is not P1. It is something here. It's something from, it is something from here. Say it is P4. Okay. So for Q2, the minimum price expected by the seller is P4. If price is below P4, he will not sell Q2. It should be below Q2. If the price is below P4, he will sell something lesser than Q2. So this is how sellers are taking their decision. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else?
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, will you explain part that when Q2 increases, does the price also increases? That part.
Yes, I am telling you that if the quantity sold is increased, initially the offered quantity is Q1, now the offered quantity is Q2. So what is the sellers are thinking? The sellers are thinking, okay, I can sell more. So I should, that means there must be there is a demand for my commodity. No? That is why I can sell more. So in that case, what is the rational seller is thinking? Rational seller is thinking, okay, then I should, hey, just a minute. What happened with Anesha and Abir? Why you are joining now? So what sellers are thinking that as I can sell more, as the person is asking me to sell more. Initially it was Q1, now the person is asking me to sell Q2. So that means per unit expected price is more for me. I can expect more price than before, right? And I'm producing more. I'm producing more to make up my cost. I must charge higher price. This is another reason. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am. It's okay.
So then what he will do? He is expecting the price P4. That if the per unit price is P4, then he can sell Q2. If the price is less than P4, then he will reduce his quantity sold. So again, you are getting a combination P3Q1, P4Q2. So if you join all those points, you can get that upward rising supply curve. So this is another way, just like the demand curve, this is another way to get your supply curve. So consumers are thinking that what is the maximum price I should pay for a certain commodity, And producers are thinking, then what is the minimum price I should get from a certain commodity? That maximum, minimum, that is different. Is it clear?
Ma'am,
Hmm?
ma'am, what is the logic behind the wholesalers selling commodities cheaper?
Oh, that is something related with the block pricing. Mm, per unit cost is less in that case. Huh? I am very sorry, I cannot explain in details right now, but I will explain when our syllabus will ask me. So I will do that. But for the time being, it is actually something related with the average cost. As you are selling at a bulk level, so your average cost is less, so you can charge lesser amount.
So, ma'am, so the seller are in profit or in loss?
No, no, no. He is always making profit. He is not going to give in charity. It is always a profitable situation. But as average cost is less, so he is charging less so that he can capture the market.
More consumers. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
So this is the thing. So is it clear that Marshallian approach? Is it clear? So it is now. It is not in terms of like if price is this, then quantity is this. If price is this, then quantity is this. No, it is not like this. If quantity is this, then what is the maximum price consumer can give, and what is the minimum price producer is expecting? This is how the Marshallian approach is working.
Ma'am, why are we even studying Marshallian approach if we are satisfied with Walrasian?
No, we are not satisfied. If we are satisfied, then why did you ask the question that why we are measuring price, which is actually the independent variable on the vertical axis? You are not satisfied. Huh?
Ma'am, then we should just change the axis instead of studying the whole Marshallian approach.
No, no, no. This is not the solution in that way. Yeah? This is a solution of three idiots. But no, actually, no, actually, no. We need the concept of that maximum level of price, minimum level of price when we are going to discuss consumer surplus, producer surplus. Hmm. So there we need the Marshallian approach. Without Marshallian approach, we cannot explain the consumer surplus, producer surplus. So that part you cannot do without Marshall.
Okay, ma'am.
And that is needed to explain that welfare effect of the interaction between consumer and producer. So it has great importance in our study. Okay, we will use it. Marshallian
Okay,
approach
ma'am.
is nothing so negligible. It has a great importance in our study. But for the right now we are just using it to compare with the world rush. But it will definitely have more importance, as I said, when we will discuss about the welfare effect, the welfare analysis, consumer surplus, producer surplus, government intervention. There we need this. So we have introduced it here.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes. Continue.
Ma'am, for P4 Q2 and P3 Q1, we are using this statement that minimum price that seller is expecting.
Yes.
Ma'am, then for P1 Q1 and P2 Q2, what is the statement that we are going to use?
What is the maximum price consumer is interested to pay?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. How to remove those lines? Do you have any idea how to remove those red lines? Can you help me? How can I remove those red lines?
Ma'am, you can try with Control Z.
Control Z. Oh, very good. Thank you. কত কিছু আছে না আমরা জানি না. Good. Now look at the stability analysis. So you have your equilibrium. You have your equilibrium here. Say the quantity is Q1. Say the quantity is Q1. So you can just look at the diagram. You can understand the price is quite different. The maximum price consumer is interested to pay is here. The minimum price producers are expecting is here. So consumer is interested to pay more than producer's expectation for the quantity Q1, right? The consumers are expecting more than producer's expectation. Is that okay? Consumers are interested to pay more than producer's expectation. That point is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, if it is clear, you can see, so there is a mismatch between the price. So consumer is offering more, right? Consumer is offering more. So once that is visible to the producer, that consumer is interested to pay more, so they are increasing their quantity sold, no? They are increasing their quantity sold. So that is why the movement of quantity is like this. Oh, the movement of quantity is like this. Quantity sold. Okay. So movement of quantity sold is like this. On the other hand, the consumer is watching that producers are not interested to get that much. I am paying something more. So what they are doing? They are increasing their demand as they can understand that they have more money in their pocket which they can spend based on the producer's expectation. They are increasing their demand. So they are moving in this way. Okay. And finally, you can get your equilibrium. Any problem with that?
Yes, ma'am. Please repeat. It's a little bit difficult.
Okay. What I am telling that at the quantity Q1, consumer is interested to pay more than producer's expectation. Okay. So there is a mismatch between the offer of price by the consumer and the demand of price by the producer. Okay. So what producer is watching? Producer is watching consumer is offering more. Consumer can pay more. Is not offering. Consumer can pay more than my expectation. So they can understand that, okay, so in that case, I can increase my quantity sold because I have that consumer in the market who can purchase my commodity because they have the money. So what they are doing? They are increasing the quantity sold. Okay. Look here, I am not using that price mechanism because I have to change the quantity. Quantity is the independent variable. So I am not changing price. I am changing the quantity. Okay. So when the producer is watching that consumer is offering, consumer can pay more than my expectation. So he can understand that once I can increase the quantity in the market, consumer will purchase it. Okay. So he is increasing quantity supply in the market. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So how he is moving? He is moving along the supply curve. That is fixed. You have to move along your supply curve. So you are moving along the supply curve and going to that equilibrium. And what about the consumer? Consumer is also realizing that what I am offering is something more than the expectation of the producer. So that means I have some money in my pocket which I can spend. Okay. As I am offering, my eagerness to get the commodity is something more than the producer's expectation, so I can increase my demand. So he is also increasing his demand along the demand curve. So he is also coming close to the equilibrium point. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am. Very much clear.
Okay. Anything else you want to ask?
No, no, ma'am. It's okay.
Okay. So what? Just look at the movement. producer is moving in this direction, consumer is moving in this direction. So you can understand, finally you will get the equilibrium. So equilibrium is stable. Okay, the same logic. Once you leave the equilibrium, whether you can come back to the equilibrium or not. Here the answer is yes, I can come back. My mechanism, the market mechanism, is helping me to come back here. So it is stable. Same thing you can check here. Here the producer's expectation is more than consumer's offering. Consumer's maximum willingness to pay is here, but producer is interested to get this. So here producer can understand that, okay, consumers are not so rich to purchase that much. They don't have the money for that commodity to purchase. So it is better to reduce my supply. So he is moving in this direction. Yes. So he is moving in this direction. He is reducing his supply. On the other hand, consumer is also watching that producer's expectation is something more than his willingness to pay. So he will also reduce his demand and ultimately he will come back to that equilibrium. So from this side and from that side, that equilibrium is a stable equilibrium. That case 1 is clear to you or not?
Ma'am, when we were discussing the equilibrium last day, ma'am, you had discussed that when quantity changes, like when demand is increasing or quantity demanded increases, there's the shift of this demand curve or shift of the supply curve. So it's not happening over here.
No, because here everything is depending on the price.
Okay, so that is why it's moving along the demand curve or the supply curve.
Yes, just a minute, just a minute. There was someone who was trying to come. Why you are leaving the class when the class is going on? I can't understand. And after some time, suddenly you are trying to enter. Is it network issue or something else? Look, Ankita Haldar left the class. Are you using mobile phone? It's better. I can suggest you to use your laptop or desktop because all of you has spent some time of this online class in your school, na? So there also they are taking the class through online version because last time that pandemic, within that pandemic situation, you have given your exam. So you are used to that system. So it's better to use your desktop or laptop. Don't use smartphone because we are presenting a lot of diagrams. It's very difficult for you to understand diagram in that small screen. It's better to use.
Ma'am, in the smartphone we can zoom in. Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. But on the laptop and our desktops we can't.
But in the desktop it is already very large. So why there is a need of zoom in case of the desktop?
Ma'am, কখনো কখনো
Can
picture
zoom
টা
it on
খুব clear.
laptop. I just tried now.
জুম করলে অসুবিধা হয় না, একটা পোর্শন দেখছো আরেকটা পোর্শন তো দেখতে পাচ্ছ না।
না ম্যাম,
শুধু
খুব একটা না।
হয়, সুবিধা হয়, আমি কোনোদিন ট্রাই করিনি অ্যাকচুয়ালি। আমি আসলে চোখেও একটু কম দেখি, তো আমার কাছে সবসময় বড় বড় স্ক্রিন সুবিধার লাগে। আচ্ছা, চলো, let me come back to our study. So case 1 is clear to you? Look, the problem of your smartphone. Why, Ankita? Why you left the class? So this is the case of, tell me, I'm asking you the question. Case 1 is clear to you or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Clear. Okay. So that is clear. Fine, very good. So let me go to case 2. I think that will be easy to you to understand. I'm talking a lot. Okay, fine. I will take another 7 or 8 minutes. I will stop at 12:45. Just a minute. Okay, look at this diagram. Again, the same diagram. Huh? You can understand this is the diagram for the Walrus as well. Here there is a violation of law of demand. Okay, there is a violation of law of demand, but law of supply is maintained. So the steepness, the slopes are different. So here, look, the supply curve is flatter, the demand curve is steeper. Huh? So if there is a price, if there is any quantity which is greater than equilibrium quantity, look at this. Take any quantity which is greater than equilibrium quantity. Fine. So here the willingness to pay of the consumer is more than the expected price from the supply side. Do you agree with me? Willingness to pay of the consumer is more than expected price from the supply side.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So what should be done? Producers will increase their supply na? Because they are watching that, okay, consumers are ready to pay more, then I should increase my supply. So he is moving in this direction. He is moving in this direction. He is increasing his supply. Okay. And what consumer is watching? Consumer is watching that, okay, what I am offering, producers are more than happy with that. So in that case, that means I can demand more. So he is also increasing his demand. So look what is happening. You are leaving that equilibrium, so you cannot come back to your equilibrium. Now, is it okay?
Ma'am, can you repeat once?
Yes, I'm telling this is a quantity more than equilibrium quantity. Okay. So here, this is the willingness to pay of the consumer, and this is the expected price of the producer. So willingness to pay is more than the expected price of the producer. Okay. So what the consumer is thinking, what the producer is thinking, producer is watching that consumer is interested to pay more than I am asking. So that means consumer can purchase more if I sell more. So he has increased his supply along his supply curve. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now consider the consumer. Consumer is also watching that what I am offering, producer is more than happy with that. He is expecting something less than my offer. So that means I have some money which I can spend to consume more. So he is also increasing his demand. So he is moving along his demand curve in this direction. Is it clear?
Well, it is clear, but in the previous one, in the case number one, when there is the increasing demand, then we go to the downward. This is a red one arrow, and this is the
Because
down
there is law of demand, but here violation of law of demand.
violation of. Okay, okay, okay. No, understood.
So that one, is it clear to you that once you are leaving that equilibrium, it is not possible for you to come back to your equilibrium. No? So that
Yes, ma'am,
equilibrium is
understood.
unstable. Okay, that equilibrium is unstable. Now look at the phase 2 of Walrus. That same diagram, what I said, this is stable. Now, if demand curve is steeper than supply curve, in case of Walrus, that equilibrium was stable. But the same diagram here, according to Marshall, it is unstable. So here comes the difference. Is it visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So the
Yes,
equilibrium
ma'am.
which was stable for Walrus is unstable for Marshall. That is not a problem. This diagram is same for both. This is stable for Marshall and for Walrus. But here comes the difference. This is stable for Walrus, but this is unstable for Marshall. And what about this? Just opposite. You can understand. Any eh, the expected price is greater than the offer price, right? The expected price is greater than the offer price. Then producer will reduce the supply. Producer is watching that, okay, the consumer is not able to pay according to my expectations, so it's better to reduce my quantity. Okay, so what is happening? So this is the movement of the producer. He is moving towards the equilibrium, and but the consumer is watching. Consumer is watching. Okay, what I am offering, it is not sufficient for the producer, so it's better to reduce my quantity demanded. So he is also moving in this way. Finally, both are coming to that equilibrium. So that situation is a stable equilibrium. Okay, that equilibrium is stable with respect to Marshall. Again, this is unstable in case of Walras. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I
Yeah.
should stop
Yes,
here.
ma'am.
I should stop here because I have discussed a lot about
Ma'am, can you explain the second case again?
this one.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I said it is the quantity again greater than equilibrium quantity. So the expected price is here and offered price is here. The maximum willingness to pay is here and the expected price is here. So expectation is something more than the offering, right? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if it is, the producer can understand that consumers are not ready to pay more according to my expectation, so it's better to reduce my supply. So he is reducing the supply and coming back to that equilibrium point. And consumer is also watching that what he is offering, it is not sufficient for the producer. So he can also understand that it's better to reduce his demand. So he is also reducing and coming back to that equilibrium point. So that is why I am telling you that equilibrium is a stable equilibrium. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am. It's okay.
Okay. So I just, what I did today, I have discussed about the Walras in details. I have introduced the Marshallian concept and I have explained two cases of Marshall. Two others are there. I will explain it tomorrow. And with that, tomorrow, okay, let me explain my tomorrow's plan. Tomorrow, I will explain these two diagrams. You can ask your problem from today's class. And then we will solve the question from demand supply. Which we left when we discussed the questions from unit 1 and unit 2. Some questions are left there. I said don't discuss it right now. So now we can discuss it. So we will discuss all those questions tomorrow. Okay, I should stop here because it will be very heavy for you to talk a lot about the stability. I'm talking around 1.5 hours.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes, one by one.
Ma'am, can you tell the chapter name or the chapter number for the book you referred for this section?
Yes, let me first find out the correct spelling of the writer, then I will write it. But I'm not sure whether I can give you the chapter name because I don't have this book right now. This is in my
Okay, ma'am.
college library. Just open it now. Just open it. You can get
Ma'am,
it.
I got the PDF. I got the PDF. There are so many chapters.
So the chapter on stability,
Ma'am, market
demand
equilibrium.
supply.
There is a ma'am under demand supply. There is no such chapter, but there is a chapter under market equilibrium. Ma'am, I will tell you the chapter name once.
Look, when we were fighting with the stability, when we are fighting with the Marshallian approach, Shaurodeep was searching Kurswanis.
No, ma'am. Actually, I downloaded the book, but right now I'm checking the chapter. I'm not finding the name. That's the problem.
Okay, 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 okay.
I was following your class, ma'am.
Yes, I can understand.
I'm not being able to find it. I'll check. Yes, ma'am. There is a chapter, factor pricing, general equilibrium.